So here we have some playground code with a color picker, and it's just made with GUI color picker. So let's just grab some sample code here and maybe create ourselves a new menu. Let's make one called color. And let's just paste some sample code in here. Oh, sorry, wrong place. Don't save. And actually, get rid of this. I meant to create a menu over in here in pages. Color. And now let's paste this. Okay, and we can follow this boilerplate. Paste. Copy. Paste. Okay, here we go. So we'll call this menu color. And we'll go back to tools. And we'll say, yes, back to tools. So go tools. And this is color div. And here we'll say, here's the color picker. So color picker is going to return something. So here's where we try returning some of this. So we can say that picker is Babylon GUI. Okay, so it's just GUI. Color picker. Picker value is not set in the beginning. Height can be sure. That's fine. Picker horizontal alignment. I don't think we need to set this. On change, let's just console log the value. Console log color value and return the picker. Okay, so GUI color picker is not assignable to type to parameter child. The color picker is missing the following properties from type container. Okay, so it might need to be contained in something. So in here, it was added to a panel. What is a return value of a GUI color picker anyway? GUI color picker. Color picker extends control. Everything is a control. And what is a control? Control is the base class. So what if we just change that? Everything be, instead of container, be about control. So can we do that? So in our helpers, instead of returning that, can we say return GUI control? Let's see what breaks. Okay, got some errors. Type of control not so what? Okay, so this is happening in logs. So we should see some red line. So div needs to have a list of things. Div needs to have a list of child with GUI control. Search and replace anything that says GUI container. Replace that with GUI control. And that's a whole bunch of changes. Do it. Okay, still more errors. Add control does not exist on type menu page logs. Add control does not exist on type of this. So GUI control doesn't have a method called add control. Okay, so maybe things that extend should be still containers. Extends GUI control. Replace that with extends GUI container. So it is implemented now. Now we get 5 errors. Add control does not exist on type of control. There. Horizontal stack panel is a GUI control horizontal section. As GUI container. What else? There's down here. Same thing. Add control. GUI. Okay, so these can be GUI. Okay, so new GUI control. Replace with new GUI container. Zero warnings now. Really? Does it still work? Oh, it still came out. This is still here. That still works. Logs still work. Tools, primitives, cone, back, delete it. Okay, delete the ground, bring back the ground. Okay, seems to work. And over here in the color picker, okay, let's render this guy. So we'll put it inside tools. So tools, and let's just add another one of these guys. Let's go to color. Callback is go to color. Callback, and that away. Copy that, paste that. Go to color. Callback. We'll just say that the page is color. And is that in our menu now? Color. Didn't work. Error. Okay. Yes, we need to define that under menu as one of the basic places that can be rendered as a page. Menu color and quick fix import color. Okay, so we got a GUI things there. So let's add a primitive cone. We got color. We need to pick a color, which is changing the color, but we also need to now click and apply it, right? So we don't have a way of clicking on the page, but one of these does. The primitives. No, primitives? No, which one is it? Tools, main, logs, color, about. I think it's the transfer. This guy does it. So in its constructor, so I think we just put this in our constructor, and then when we get torn down, we'll just remove it. So we'll set up a pointer observable, and we'll put that in a color. So that's drawing in the menu, but we're also paying attention to clicks. So public pointer obs is a type of Babylon observable, right? Just grab that. So that gets set, and we need the scene. So you could give us the scene. Just give us the, okay. Sure, just give us the scene. And I think we need to do a quick fix here. Quick fix. Remove that. It says this select mesh. Okay. if this and it's editable, this, let's call it color the mesh. So we also need the current color. Public current color is a Babylon vector 3, I believe. And so every time you change this, we'll say that this current color becomes the value. That should be a color 3. Color 3. And so when you color the mesh, you should actually always make sure it has a value. So let's say that the current color in this current color is equal to Babylon color 3 and make it white, I guess. So it has a value always. And then when you color the mesh, color given a mesh, which is a Babylon abstract mesh, I want you to, what is this? I want you to color the mesh. Color the mesh. So the color mesh dot, I guess we'll set the scene. How do we do this? We only want the scene manager. Okay, give me a couple more things. Give me the orchestrator. Public orchestrator is orchestrator. So that'll make the imports. Then this scene equals orchestrator dot scene manager scene. Of course, we want the scene manager. The scene manager for orchestrator dot scene manager. Quick fix. Declare property. Wait, that's not. Add all missing members. Alright. I guess it doesn't have to be public. Okay, just doing it that way. Okay, so we've got these set up, and so when we want to color it, this scene manager, find or create material, and the type of color is a string. Let me look at this method. So colors, color string, get that material name from hex string. So I guess there's a 2 hex string then, right? So if you have this current color 2 hex string, this needs ops, which is type color color string. So type color color string is this thing. Cut. That gives us the material. Actually, was there like a... Let's take a look over here. So, what calls find or create material? Find or create material 1 of 3. So, color, you want to process component given the mesh, and the type could be color, and the data could be, yeah. So then you find and create the material, and then you set it. So it's component data value. Requires a value. Okay, I like this a little bit better because it hides the implementation, whereas the other one you have to set the material. So I'm going to go with that. So instead of this, I will opt for this. This being manager process component given the mesh, and the component, which will be something that has a type, color is the component, and data is value and string. Auto format it nicely. Or color the mesh. And then of course when we want to tear down, so remove this pointer, so this on dispose observable add, and what we'll do here is this pointer observable, what was it? What did I do? Ah, yes. On pointer observable, remove that thing. Scene on pointer observable, because over here we added this scene on pointer observable add. Okay, so when you're about to dispose, call this, which will remove that. Jumping over here, we've got the color. Whoops. Can't read properties of it. Oh, yes. In the... Are there any errors here? Yeah, found one error. Here's the error. Manager. Down below, we want the orchestrator. color. Looks like the default is pretty red here. So if I click this, are we assigning anything? I guess it was white, but the thing looks red. So it works. We go get add some more primitives. We got a box here. Back up a little bit. And let's color a box. This is always red. It could maybe persist at somewhere else. But I think it's pretty easy to use. So again, we go back. We go add another primitive. About a cone, a sphere, a grid. Whoops, I added another grid. Let's go delete that additional grid. Going back to color. We can make this blue, make it slightly less blue, or like that. Jump back into color, it always looks red. So why don't we make the default red? The color, let's just make this default red. That way, when we come in, oh, I didn't save, right? And when we jump into the color, it's already selected. Very good. Now we need to announce that, right? So we could have, instead of doing that, color mesh, right, and also just announce it. So signal hub, outgoing, uses the emit with the spaces API, and the function call is check the spaces API. I think it is something with broadcast. Let's look with broadcast. It's not a delete entity. It's not add entity. It's modify component with broadcast. It takes the entity ID, the type, and the data. So the function name is modify component with broadcast, and oh, this is in an object, so function and args. Args. And args1 is, okay, so let's indent this a bit. Args1 is the entity ID, so that'll be the mesh ID. Second, it'll be the type, which will be color, and the data, which would be value, and the, let's just save this into a variable called color string. Color string. So const color string is this. And we'll say that that is also here, which is similar to this payload here, but you know, it's fine. even if we didn't do that, it'll come back in the round trip, but this will actually render faster for ourselves, which is fine. So now if we color this red, it should persist. Did it? I don't think it did. So let's see what happened. Error around here, no error. Let's try again. So we go here, color, red. Backend. We asked to signal hub outgoing emit. Spaces API function. Okay, so why didn't this go across the wire? Let's see. Goes to space broker. This is listening on outgoing on Spaces API. We'll push Spaces API the whole payload. So color should have on value change. Okay, that won't do anything, but the color mesh, which is when you click it, should send signal outgoing emit. Wait, handle Spaces API incoming on here. You got parameters. Value, red, color, yes, function, modify, handled. Okay, so let's go do, but it didn't save it. Let's go to spaces. No, space channel. Okay, we're doing handle in on Spaces API. You're going to apply spaces. Okay, which should go to the Spaces API. Modify component with broadcast. Alright, so maybe we got an error here. So let's see what we're getting here. Modify component with broadcast. And so we needed entity ID, which we got. So you're going to get the component by entity and type. Oh, this type. It should be color. So let's see if this works. Spaces get component by entity ID. So you get the entity ID is this thing. And the type is color. Does that return anything? Ooh, error not found. That is interesting. So what does get component by entity ID do? Get component entity ID and the type. Okay, does the entity exist? Repo get by component. Yes. Entity ID is that. Okay, there are results. Oh, it doesn't have a color. You need a patch. So if you don't have it, you'll create it. So, okay. What is this called? This is called update, right? Update and broadcast. So, space is good. With broadcast to modify component. Okay, so we couldn't get this. It came out with an error. So if the error is component not found, can you create component? Create component, add. I don't think we have a add component. Create component for entity? Yeah, we do. Entity ID, component type, attributes. Yeah, we can do it. Right here. Just do that. We only have to update it. So we go back to, where's the function? Modify. So if the specific error is if the specific error was error not found, then do create component for entity with the entity ID, the type, and the data. I'm not sure if with matches all of these or just one of these. Let's see what happens. Start my server again. Now it does not have a color component on it. So I Go to color and color that. Insert into components. Blah, 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 with color. Refresh this page. Looks like it persisted. So it worked. Let's pick yellow. Click there. Make it brighter yellow. Let's add some more colors here. Okay. Refresh. Totally persistent. Okay. We'll stop here.